Hey everybody, this is Troy with eBuzz Central. Today we're taking a look at Xero Linux, that's with an X. It's an Arch-based distribution with a KDE desktop environment, and it's got some eye candy for you to look at. But before we get started, please don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow my channel. Doesn't cost anything, and if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we produce, you can become a member to the channel, buy us a cup of coffee, or better yet, become a patron to the channel over on Patreon. Those links will be in the description below. So taking a quick look at Xero Linux, let's go ahead and open up their website. It is xldb.techxero.com. That Xero is with an X. And when you come to their site, it kind of gives you some updates and basic information. They've got a new Xero Suite Rice available for the distribution. But if you want to know about the distribution, let's just click on About. And it just basically states this is Xero Linux, an Arch-based distro with KDE Plasma Desktop. It was started as a personal project, but has basically grown from there. And people have been really enjoying this distribution, and it's very beautiful, and it's lightweight, actually. It's built on the ALCI, which is the Arch Linux Calamares installer, which is a project from Linux. And if you want to get more information on that, you can go to alci.online. I will include that link below as well. But it keeps you the closest to Arch as possible. Now, if you want to know some other distributions that are built on this, just go to Builds On, and you've got Linux, Arch Linux, Endeavor OS, Reborn OS, Garuda Linux. Then you can scroll down a little bit more, Anarchy Linux. And then it's got a couple of YouTube videos covering the ALCI model. But if you're familiar with Arch, you're definitely familiar with ALCI, so I'm going to close out of that. And you can go back over to their home. And like I said, you've got some news you can read about, updates, you can download a new Riced version of it, and just some general information about the distribution. So we're going to go ahead and close out of this. And if you download Xero Linux, throw it on a USB or open it up in a virtual machine, this is the screen you're met with. It's got a very beautiful background, and you've got a Xero Linux welcome. Up here, you've got the Xero Linux installer, which we know is the Calamares installer. And then you can also start in installer debug mode if you need it. Marvel Wi-Fi fixes right here. You can launch your partition manager. Go ahead and set up your partitions before you install it. You can change your display resolution. Let's go ahead and click on that. And it'll pop up right here. It's stating that we're in a virtual resolution, which is 1920 by 1080. Now, I will say this. I tried to open Xero Linux in GNOME boxes, and for some reason, it would not pass through to the graphic installer. So I closed out of GNOME boxes, flipped on over to VirtualBox, and it opened right up. So if you do download it and you try to open it in GNOME boxes and it doesn't work, you can zip on over to VirtualBox and it'll open right up. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of this. And then you've got check for system updates. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. And it's going to start a full system upgrade. We're in VirtualBox, so I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Let's not continue that. We don't need it to lock up while we're taking a look at it. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. And as you can see, you've got a panel up top and you've got a dock down on bottom. This is the Latte dock. So I'm going to go up here. You've got a power button right here. You can also show your hidden icons, which are your notifications, your Yakuaki, which is a drop-down terminal that lets you know you're in VirtualBox AMD Ryzen. We're using 1.2 gigabytes of the 2.9 gigabytes that are assigned to the machine. It's Xero Linux. It's the Linux 5.15.2-Arch 1 kernel. Plasma 5.23.3, which is your most recent version of Plasma. Bash 5.1.8. You're using the lay-in and the lay-in dark theme. Packages right now, we have 1,217 packages on the system from Pacman. And we're using about 24% of the CPU at present. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Come back up to your hidden icons. You've got clipboard, notifications, vaults, KDE Connect. If you're not familiar with KDE Connect, if you have an Android or an Apple phone, you can go download the KDE Connect app from their stores, whether it be Google Play or iTunes. Put it on your smartphone, then you can sync it with your PC or your laptop. And before you know it, you're able to do all kinds of awesome things with your phone and your PC. I use mine every now and then as a remote control. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this. Internet, USB, battery power, PayMac tray to let you know about your updates. And then right here, you've got total CPU usage, shows you your network usage, and then of course your memory usage right here. You come over to the center, you've got weather. If you wanted to configure that, all you have to do is right click on it and you can go in here and configure it. You can change your station, appearance, units. If you wanted to show in imperial, you can set that, or you could leave it on metric and then debug and then about. So let's go ahead and close out of that. Then you have date and time, Thursday, November 18th. And on the left side, you've got an application menu. You can click on that, and that's a drop down. But first, we're going to take a look at the desktop. Let's go ahead and do a right click. And you can configure your desktop wallpaper, open with Dolphin, icons, refresh desktop. Let's go ahead and check on desktop and wallpapers. And when it opens up, you get a few different wallpapers in here, and they all seem to be Xero Linux wallpapers. So you don't have just a plethora of wallpapers you're never going to use. I'm going to go ahead and just switch to change. And I do like the look of that, so I think I'm going to leave that up there. So let's go ahead and close out of that. And then you come down to the bottom, you've got your latte dock. It's pretty snappy. Let's go ahead and check out Dolphin. You open up Dolphin, and I love the blur theme on this operating system. It has just a slight blur so you can see the wallpaper behind it. And if you notice up here, you do have a global menu up top. And you've got your usual suspects over here. Let's go ahead and make it just a hair bigger so we can see what's going on. I want to go ahead and get rid of some of these. Let's go ahead and hide the recent. Let's hide the remote. And then right click down here and let's make our icons just a hair bigger. There we go. It's a little easier to see. So you got your usual suspects over here. You got your home folders right here. And this is a really good looking theme. I love the look of this. Dolphin is a lightweight, fast file manager that makes it easy to get things done and stays out of your way. So we're going to go ahead and close out of that. And as we saw at the beginning of the video, you do have Vivaldi as your browser. And once it's opened up, you do have DuckDuckGo as your primary search engine. You do have things over here you can set up on Vivaldi. It is not a completely open source browser. So if you're not a fan of Vivaldi, of course you can uninstall it and install something you like a Firefox or a Chromium, but that's your Vivaldi browser. Then we come back down to the bottom. You've got Quantum Manager, and then you have Console. Let's go ahead and open that up. Now this is separate from your drop down that we were looking at a while ago. It gives you the same info right here. What we're going to do real quick is see if they have HTOP installed. And they do not. Let's see if they have top. And they do seem to have top installed. At present, we have 3 gigabytes of memory assigned to this machine. We're using 1.1 gigabytes at rest, which I would say is mid-range on resource usage. But you also have to understand we're in a virtual box, so some of this operating system is running in RAM and definitely is going to be a lot lighter once you install it. Now, if you look up top, you have a global menu for console, so you can do everything you need to do up there. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Now, what I do want to check is, did Vivaldi have a global menu? Because I know Firefox does not work well with global menus. And Vivaldi doesn't have a global, let's go minimized. So no, the menu is embedded into Vivaldi. And then if you maximize it, the top panel does automatically disappear and gets out of your way, as does the dock below. So I like that. So let's go ahead and close out of that. You've got system settings. We'll look at that last. You've got disks. Let's go ahead and check that out. And it kind of goes along with the theme. It doesn't have the blur that you get on Dolphin. I don't know why. Maybe it just doesn't carry over to the disks application, but it still looks good. It's a dark theme. Fits right in with everything else that's going on, so let's go ahead and close out of that. You have your Grub Customizer, and then you had add and remove software. Let's go ahead and open that up. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do here is if you do install Xero Linux, before you update or before you install any kind of applications, you need to go up to the dots up here, click on that, go down to Preferences, and go to Third Party. You want to enable AUR support and enable Check for Updates and Check for Developmental Packages. Then you can go back to General, and everything looks good there, so we close out of that. That way you'll have the AUR, which is the Arch user repository, and applications and software that you can't find in the official repositories, you can find in there and not miss a beat. And then, of course, if you wanted to search for something specific, you could come over here. Let's say we wanted to search the AUR for something like MailSpring. There's MailSpring right there. You could just come over here, click Download. It'll pop up a window telling you what dependencies you need to run it, and you would install those as well, and then you would have the application installed on your system. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. Come back down to the bottom, and you also have Thunar File Manager. Let's check it out. So if you don't like Dolphin and you want something just a little lighter and maybe for some people easier to get around, you have Thunar, and you have your usual suspects over here, and then of course your home folder over here. Now this one is really lightweight, but it's a powerful file manager that lets you get work done. So you've got that option as well. Plus, if you look up top, it has a global menu as well. So let's go ahead and close out of that. Now we'll go up to the app menu. Let's open it up. And developmental apps, you've got CMake, Localize, Qt Assist, Graphics, GwenView, Internet. You've got Vivaldi, KDE Connect, Lost and Found, GM Run, Multimedia, you got some Qt utilities. So if you need something to play videos, you'll probably have to download a MPV player or a VLC or something like that. Office, it's got Localize, does not have an Office suite, so you need to go download something like a LibreOffice or a OnlyOffice. Settings, you got add and remove software we've seen, Cavantum, YAD settings. Down to System, BleachBit, Bulk Rename, GR Sync, Info Center, KSysGuard, KSystem Log, System Monitor, System D Manager, and let's go back to Utilities, Bulk Rename, KFind, Calculator, Kate, Software Token, Spectacle for your screenshots, Help, Power Session, Log On, Log Out, Shut Down. Let's go ahead and check out Settings now. Here's your Settings menu. At present, we're running a dark theme. I'm going to leave that alone. You can change your wallpaper from right here. Single click selects them, double click opens them is selected. You can go over to Appearance. At present, we're running the lay-in theme. You do have the lay-in solid. Breeze Twilight, Breeze Dark, Breeze. If you don't like any of these themes, of course, you can go over here and get new global themes. Just click on that. Go up here and instead of recent, show highest rated. Then it will give you the highest rated themes that you can download. Just click on one of those, install it. Once it's installed, you can close that, come over here, select it, and apply, and it'll change everything up. You can do that with application style, plasma, colors, windows, fonts. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the font size up a little bit. Let's go ahead and take that to number 12. And as you can see, it changed the size of the fonts across the operating system. So let's go back to Appearance. And like with all the other KDE distros I've looked at, I've always explained that there are literally thousands of ways that you can customize KDE. So it just takes you making the decision to switch and just getting in there and actually taking the time to customize it and make it look exactly the way you want it to look. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of that. That right there is a quick look at Xero Linux. What do you think? Is it something you might download, throw in a USB, put in a virtual machine and take it for a test drive? Let me know in the comments below. I will tell you this, it's probably one of the best looking KDE distributions out there. I used to think Garuda had the market cornered on good looks, but this is definitely up there with it. So I suggest you run on over, download it, throw it on a USB, and give it a test drive. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Do me a favor before you leave today. Please like, subscribe, or follow my channel. It doesn't cost anything, and if you end up not liking me, you can always unsubscribe. If you like the channel and enjoy the videos that we produce, you can support us by becoming a member right here on eBuzz Central, buying us a cup of coffee, or better yet, becoming a patron to the channel over on Patreon. Those links will be in the description below. Thank you for watching the video, and I will see you in the next video.